The Prime Minister says we're not in a cost of living crisis. This is what she said on our show yesterday. Do we have a cost of living crisis?
We are experiencing high inflation at the moment.
Is it a crisis?
I wouldn't describe it that way.
Look at the numbers from The Economist. You know, an extra $4,000 to $5,000 every year for the basics. That's a crisis. To be fair to the Prime Minister, she did say she acknowledges that there are cost pressures on families at the moment, but as you saw there, stopped short of calling this a crisis. Let's take a look at some of the stats, shall we? Inflation was at 5.9% for the December quarter. Kiwis are spending an extra $4,000 to $5,000 on basics. That's over the last 12 months. That's things like food and rent and electricity. Rent, by the way, is up $2,600 for the year. First home owner mortgage costs are up almost $4,000 a year. And in an average car, get this, $20 will take you 40 kilometres less than it did a year ago. So we've been inundated with stories from people from all walks of life all over New Zealand telling us how hard it is to make ends meet at the moment. And today we're talking with two of our viewers who will share their own struggles and stories. I'm joined now by Chris Todolu from Auckland's North Shore and Christine Nation from Foxton Beach. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Great to have you on our show. Thank you for watching and thank you for coming on. I want to start with you, Steve. Good morning. Thanks for being with us. Tell me about why you felt that you wanted to say something. What's your situation? What are you struggling with?
Yeah, look, I'll tell you. It really irked me when the Prime Minister said that this is not a crisis. Because look, I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't classify myself as being on the breadline. However, there are things that we notice that are changing drastically. There used to be a time where you could go to the supermarket and purchase 3 packets of nappies for $32, but you don't see those yellow special tickets anymore. You know, you're paying $22 for a pack of nappies now, and those, if I'm feeling the pinch there, then the people who are really at the bottom are really, really going to be struggling. I mean, you're putting, like you said, $60 in your car now rather than trying to fill it up, because you just don't know when the next price rise will go in petrol. And
because you've got 3 kids in your care as well, haven't you? So you've got a lot of mouths to feed. Is there anything that because of the cost increases, the price increases, is there anything you're cutting back on? You know, are you doing less work because you can't afford the petrol to get there? Are you cutting back on food or luxuries?
I mean, look, you absolutely, you know, you really do think before you put the key in the car, do I really need to nip into town now, or can I hold off? Can I wait till I have to go pick the kids up from kindy? Or whether we have to go to an appointment, you know, is there a closer place that we can go? Because it is expensive at the fuel pump. And, you know, the Prime Minister says, you know, there is no magic wand. Well, there actually is a magic wand. Take the regional fuel tax off and cut the GST out of petrol for a short period of time. I mean, it's a simple fix that can help so many directly. I mean, it's hard for everybody out there. You know, when price of food's going up because transportation costs are hard to get, or, you know, just to fill up the car to take the kids down to the beach or whatever it might be. You know, these are the things that they can help with now. And because of, I guess, some ideological passion, they choose not to.
Christine, I want to bring you in here. Christine in Foxton this morning. Great to have you on the show. Christine, tell me about your situation.
To say there isn't a crisis is just, she needs to get on the ground floor. I think that we are about to see a massive health crisis. So I added it up. I couldn't understand why we were struggling so much. In the first lockdown, I was teaching people how to buy their groceries for $20 a week, for $200 a week, sorry, and live comfortably. We're a family of 7. We were a family of 6 at the time. And in just over a year, my groceries have increased $7,000 annually. And that's a lot. My husband hasn't received a $7,000 increase in his pay. But not only that, like everyone's saying, there's the petrol, there's the rent. I've spoken to so many people about this. I have messages from women and families who are stressed out about this all the time. And like I said, I think we're about to see a huge health crisis. We have parents choosing whether they get food or whether they go to the doctors. I had a conversation with a woman last night who, well, I don't want to bring it up too much on air, had thought about leaving her family. And this is a family who had two incomes, $60,000 in the bank, and then they couldn't buy a house because of the housing market at the moment, and then they couldn't rent because they had 5 kids and 2 dogs. By the time they did.
People are in impossible situations. Christine, I want to know about your situation a little more. So you said that, obviously you're finding it hard to put food on the table. What was costing you, a couple of $100 now costing you a lot more. So what does that mean for you? Because you've recently finished studying and you've been looking for work. Is the pressure on the cost of living, is it actually stopping you from finding work, from being able to get to work?
Yes, and this is something that is so embarrassing to say, but I cannot afford to go to work. And I think that is the case for a lot of women. After having babies, they want to go out to work. We just can't afford it now. It's cheaper for me to stay at home with my children and not pay the extra petrol, not pay the huge daycare costs and the extra food for lunches and everything like that. So I've just spent a lot of money on an amazing degree that I cannot go and use because it's cheaper for me to be at home. I cannot afford to go to work, and that doesn't make sense.
Well, Christine, it doesn't make a lot of sense to us either. And I want to thank you very much for coming on the program. And Steve, I want to thank you for coming on the program as well. It's very brave to come on national television and talk to us like this. So we really appreciate your time. Steve, Chris Todolu and Christine Nation with us this morning.